Salem witch trials were a devastating era in history. From accusations of being a witch and betrayed by their own people, to innocent people being hanged, the Salem witch trials were very horrific and eerie for those who lived during the time. January 1692. The ordained minister Reverend Samuel Parris witnessed his daughter Elizabeth Parris and niece Abigail Williams going through a series of events that led him to believe that they were being bewitched. Not only were the two girls screaming their heads off, but they were reportedly having bite marks and severe bruises on their bodies. A doctor came to inspect the girls and confirmed that this was a supernatural force that was acting on them. If these girls were playing a scam, not only were they being ignorant, but the girls themselves could have been accused of witchcraft, which meant that their fate would be at the ropes. However, if it weren't for them being asked who bewitched them, they would have been accused of being witches. One theory that gave a possible solution to the incident between the two girls was the fungus ergot. Ergot is a fungus that grows on rye, and rye can be transformed into bread. When the contaminated bread is consumed, the consumers will experience nervous dysfunction, severe pain, and hallucinations due to the LSD derived from the ergot. However, this theory was refuted because the girls would experience their symptoms at the same time and they ended together as well.
On February 9, 1692, Jonathan Corwin and John Hathorne, both magistrates, forced two girls by the names of Elizabeth and Abigail to name the people who afflict them. Elizabeth and Abigail accused Tituba, an Indian who was Reverend Samuel Parris' slave, Sarah Osborne, and Sarah Good. Both Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne claimed to be innocent, but they died due to the trials. However, Tituba admitted to afflicting the girls by saying, "The devil came to me and bid me to serve him." During Tituba's trial, she explained her visions of a yellow bird biting her finger, red cats, black dogs, and a dark man. Also, Tituba named other witches such as Goody Osborne who were working to harm the Puritans. Tituba's case played a huge role in the Salem witch trials because the whole phenomenon was an idea or concept that the town was exposed to. However, due to Tituba's confession, the officials and town people believed that witches were no longer a fantasy, but rather a reality. Bridget Bishop was the first person to be executed in the Salem witch trials. Also, between July and September, another 18 people were executed.
George Burroughs. Putnam family's maid Mercy Lewis testified against George Burroughs. Some people called him the Black Minister and said that he was evil like the Indians. During the trial, Burroughs stated, "I maintain that they neither are or ever were witches." Unfortunately, these words had no effect to the audience, the judges, nor the jury who found Burroughs guilty. August 19, 1692. Minister Cotton Mather comes from Boston to witness Burroughs' hanging. Before Burroughs was hanged, he recited the Lord's Prayer. Cotton Mather said it could not be done by any witch. Some accounts said that the people began to move forward to prevent the hanging, but Cotton Mather refused with the words, "George Burroughs is no ordained minister. The devil has so often transformed himself to an angel of light." Unfortunately, Burroughs slowly died from the hanging.
5 or more women were executed: Rebecca Nurse, Sarah Good, and 3 more for not confessing or refusing to name other witches. Those who confessed of witchcraft and gave names of more witches were never convicted. Some people couldn't accept a label as a witch and would not confess to being a witch, even to save their lives. However, some would, just for their own sake.
September 1692. Giles Corey, husband to accused witch Martha Corey, was accused of being a witch. He didn't even waste his time trying to plead innocent because he knew that he would only find himself to be labeled as guilty and sentenced to death. Giles was forcefully placed on the ground while townspeople stacked heavy stones upon him. 2 days later, while Giles was laying under the unimaginable pressure on his body, he was approached by the townspeople and was asked if he was willing to plead guilty. Giles was said to have responded by saying, "More weight." Giles died tragically but was never convicted of witchcraft. Martha Corey also refused to confess to witchcraft along with 7 others who refused to confess to a crime they did not commit or refused to accuse their neighbors in order to save themselves, and was hanged 3 days after Giles Corey's death. These people were called martyrs who established resistance to the witch hunt.
The accusations of Margaret Jacobs, a 17-year-old confessed witch, helped hang Minister George Burroughs and her grandfather George Jacobs. The day after her grandfather was executed, Margaret Jacobs dictated a letter to the judges which said, "What I said was altogether false against my grandfather and Mr. Burroughs. They told me if I would not confess, I should be put down into the dungeon and would be hanged. But if I confess, I should have my life."
Cotton Mather's father, Reverend Mather, wrote a powerful plea to the court. He explained the warning of improper accusations. They said it was better that 10 accused witches should be spared than that one innocent person should die. There were still a lot of people in jail and could not be freed. Their only way out was through a judicial process. More people were convicted, but the governor reprieved them all. When Judge William Stoughton hears that the governor reprieved the last 3 witches, he raged. Thereby the kingdom of Satan is advanced, and the Lord may have mercy on this country.
All the people accused of witchcraft didn't have a proper burial and cannot even be found in today's time. People believe that they could possibly be buried at Gallows Hill, while others think the accused were buried at no marked location, as if they were meant to be hidden. In Salem, there is now a Salem Witch Trial Memorial that has many of the names of the people that were either executed or died in jail during the trials. Till this day, no one truly knows who or what caused the Salem witch trials. How was my topic significant in history in relation to the National History Day theme? The Salem witch trials was significant in history in relation to the National History Day theme because many accused witches were executed. However, some were given their lives back due to lack of evidence to prove guilty of their accusations. How did my topic develop over time? The Salem witch trials developed over time due to Elizabeth Parris and Abigail Williams' incident. If it weren't for their experience, the Salem witch trials would have never happened. Inevitably, it did happen, which led to countless accusations that afflicted many innocent people. How did my topic influence history? The Salem witch trials influenced history because till this day, Africa and India continue to have witch hunts which are judged by the authorities. How did the events and atmosphere of my topic's time period influence my topic in history? The political events of the Salem witch trials influenced my topic in history because the court system went by spectral evidence for most of the early cases, which relied on visions and dreams of the victims. This was a huge problem because people would lie about their visions or dreams to save themselves from execution. Why is my topic important? The Salem witch trials is important because it allows us to understand how scrupulous the Puritan religion was. It also opened our eyes to the horrific consequences there were if you disobeyed the traditions.